But listen, what I'll do is if we can just go back to the very start a little bit because I suppose your story's a wee bit unique because obviously your dad was a bit of an Irish boxing legend. So when I
Yeah.
ask how you got involved in boxing, I suppose yours is a bit different. So talk to us a wee bit about that.
Yeah, I obviously seen my dad in the gym every day, when he was a pro. So I always kind of looked up to him, but there was no girls really boxing at the time. So there was no girl female figure to look up to. Now everyone has Katie Taylor as Alexa Kelly Harrington, but like I was just looking up to my dad, being my dad, and kind of like go to work with your dad day. And I'd go into Breen's gym up in Belfast and I'd hit the bags and I'd say all the boxers were like, "Oh God, here she is again." Walking
Right.
in, they're getting changed and all, and I'm just running in. And I always wanted to box. And my dad was like, "Oh no, like girls don't box," which they didn't at the time. There was no really female boxers at the time. So I kept at it, always wanted to be a boxer, dressing up with the gloves and all. And we used to go for breakfast every Sunday with Pete Taylor, and he used to talk about his kids' class at the time. So Katie was boxing then, and I remember asking him one day, I was only 6, and I said, "Can I join your kids' class?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course, come down tomorrow. Come down at 6 o'clock tomorrow night." I was like, "Right, grand." So then my dad came back from the toilet, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going boxing tomorrow." And he was like, "You what?" Like, "No, you're not." And Pete said, "Oh, I didn't know that this was a thing, like that she wasn't allowed to box." So I went down the Monday night anyway, and my dad said, "Now put her into spar on the first night, and she'll with the lads, and she'll take a few digs, and that'll be that nipped in the bud. Like she won't want to go back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been like really rough and ready or anything as a kid. I would have been more into the Barbies and stuff. So
Okay.
it was like she definitely will hate this. So that's grand. We'll get her in, show her the ropes that she won't like, and then out." And I loved it. They were hitting me, and I was hitting them back. So I've never looked back since then. So I'm still there.
And what age was that when you first went to the gym then?
I'm 6.
6 years of age. So
Yeah.
your dad said put her in sparring at 6.
Yeah, put her
Wow.
in sparring against the boys who'd been there. Like it was actually against Matthew Tyndall. He's a professional now,
Yes.
and against Katie Taylor's nephew, Jake McMahon. He's another boxer as well. So the two of them had been in the gym since they were young as well,
Right.
and put me in with them. Just spar them. You'll be grand. You'll take a few digs. You won't go back, and I loved it.
And you loved it. And am I right in thinking I was doing a wee bit of research? Did your sister want to box maybe before she's a bit older and
Yeah,
your dad wouldn't let her?
he would let her know. He said, "No, put her into karate or something, something non-contact, like it's not for girls." But it wasn't at the time,
Yeah.
whereas now it's completely different. There's so many opportunities for the girls now.
Yeah, of course. And like with that, your dad having that sort of, I was thinking that's not for girls. Did it take long for that to sort of wear off? Or then he started to, I'm sure he's
Yeah,
been
he was
fans.
always so supportive then when I did want to box. When I actually went down and he seen me spar, he said, "Geez, maybe she's actually all right." you
Yeah,
know.
he's seen something.
So yeah, so he's been supportive ever since, obviously, but he loves it now.
That good stuff. And I mean, I suppose from as a kid, was it pressure having your dad being known and stuff? And like, I suppose at the start, I'm imagining it would have been, oh, there's Jim Rock's daughter, and you're entering maybe your first competitions. Did you like that, having a wee bit of attention, or did you maybe,
Um, like I wasn't great to be honest when I was younger. Like I was nothing special ever. So it wasn't like, oh, like Jim Rock's one is real good or anything. But if people that wouldn't know me, they'd be like, "Oh, this is Jim Rock's daughter. She's probably really good." And like I was just a bang average. So
right?
there was nothing special. But now, not really. There's not really any pressure. I used to be always, "Oh, that's Jim Rock's young one." I'd be like, "No, my name's Casey." Like.
Yeah, yeah. They're not even saying your name.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, this is Jim Rock someone like introducing me to new people," and I'd be like, "No, I'm Casey." Like,
Yeah, of course, of course.
I
And I
wanted to
mean,
go down.
yeah, and you mentioned about Katie Taylor there, obviously. I mean, how big an influence was she, I suppose, as you were
Oh,
coming up? Because she would have been obviously then hitting her prime, I
yeah,
suppose, as an amateur boxer.
she was in the gym. So when I joined Bray Boxing Club. So Katie was kind of the only girl there as well at the time. So it was great to have someone like Katie to look up to. But I just knew her as Katie. I never knew her as this big Katie Taylor, whereas everyone else would. So, and she's so nice that that's the way you'd still look at her. If she seen you in the street, she'd be straight over. It was just great to look up to her the whole time and then know that she was always there if I ever needed help with anything as well. So it was so good. Even all her old gear, as soon as she got new gear, like the old gear would come straight to me. She'd be
Is
like,
that
"There you
right?
go." Yeah.
Brilliant.
She
Very good.
anything she had, she'd give away. She was great.
Yeah, she always comes across. I mean, obviously, I've never met her, but she seems, I think that's what people love her so much because she's such an amazing fighter,
Yeah,
amazing
she's
athlete,
great.
but she seems so humble. Like,
Such a nice
almost, she doesn't
person.
really like doing interviews and she always seems very,
Yeah, no, she's great. So nice and such a great person to look up to as well.
Yeah. And so if we get to your boxing career then, as an amateur, when would you have maybe won your first Irish title? Was it quite early on, or did it take a while?
Yeah. I lost the first year in the finals. So I had three fights and I lost in the finals then. It was a close fight, but the girl was just better than me, simple as. And then I came back the second year and I won then. So I had another three fights. The girl had beaten me in the Leinster Championships just
Hmm.
before in the final. And luckily that year they let finalists go as well. It was just by chance. It's normally just the winner, the champion of Leinster, Munster, Connacht, Ulster that would
Yeah.
go, but they let the finalists go as well. So I got to meet that girl in the final then, and I bet her back. So that was my first
And
Irish
that's
title.
you'd rather beat her in the Irish final than
Definitely, yeah.
so
Then in the Masters, definitely. So that was
yeah.
my first one. And then I won them kind of consecutively then the rest of the year. So I have seven Irish titles
Seven
now.
Irish titles. I was going to ask.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
obviously, your dad's famous for winning four Irish professional titles at four
Yeah.
different weights, which is an unbelievable. I mean, that's an amazing achievement. So I suppose winning an Irish title for you it was like, there you go.
Yeah.
Now,
My dad won six Irish titles as an
oh, there
amateur,
you go.
and I won seven. So,
A wee
and
competition
he
here.
never won the elites,
I
and I
was
won
going
the
to get to
elites.
that as well. Yeah. Oh my
So
goodness,
that's the
right.
one up I have on him.
Good stuff. Yeah. And I mean, when I was also looking at your career, was it Leanne Murphy seemed to around maybe youth
Yeah.
level? You seemed to maybe come up short against her a few times.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that rivalry.
So we would have came up against each other, in the cadets and the under 18s, everything. So four times I boxed Leanne before I bet her. So she had beaten me four times. And it was like, oh God, I'm gonna get Leanne Murphy again.
Right.
But we always got on, great, great friends. Like she's a lovely girl. And it was always 3-2 splits, or sometimes I was like, I definitely won that one,
Yeah.
or but so close that you couldn't call it. So then under 22, the first year I beat her then, and then I bet her again the following year in the under 22s. So that was kind of got my own back. But I was meant to
Yeah.
fight her again in the college championships, but she pulled out. I think she was injured. So I'd like to get another couple of fights with her just to
Just so
even
you
it
can
up
get the winning
for.
record.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm competitive like that. But
Yeah,
no,
no.
she was great as well. Great boxer too.
Yeah, no, but I was just thinking now because when I looked at your record, I seen you'd beat her recently over the last couple
Yeah,
of years. I was
yeah,
thinking, was that maybe a mental thing where you thought, well, this
yeah.
shows
It
I'm
was like
improving?
I just couldn't get around. She used to sidestep, and I didn't know how to get past that because I would normally come in with a couple of punches, and she'd just sidestep and be gone. I just didn't know how to overcome that. And it was a mental block when I'd get in. Like I have to win this one. I have to win this one. But then I joined the high performance, and I was training away with them, kind of learning some new things. So I felt more confident then going into the under 22s. And they said, what are you going to the under 22s for? You're just after winning the elites. You don't have to put this on the line. This
Hmm.
girl's beaten you four times before. I said, no, I need to go in and I need to beat this
Yeah.
girl just for my own mindset.
Yeah, I
So,
suppose they say you're the Irish elite champion, but if you hadn't beat the person that's beat you four times, maybe
yeah,
then you
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I understand
So,
it. But I
yeah,
mean, the Irish elites, I mean, was it 2021?
2021.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you're only what 21 now, so you maybe 18 years of age.
Yeah. Yeah. Going
Yeah, I
into
mean,
them.
that's what an achievement that was to win an Irish elite title so young. Was that unexpected, or or were you confident at that time?
Yeah. No, I definitely wasn't confident, but I had been training and training hard, and then I got COVID like maybe
Okay.
3 or 4 weeks before the elites. And I said, oh, this is like such a big setback or whatever. But I still went in. He said, I haven't boxed. COVID had been around, so we've been in lockdown for so long. I said, I haven't boxed in so long. I actually blew up to about 76 kilo. So I used to box at 60, and I
Really?
went up to
Right.
70. Yeah, during lockdown. I didn't train during lockdown, but then when the elites were coming up, I said, I need to get myself back on track here.
Yeah.
So I lost the weight, then I went in at 66. So I'd taken off about 10 kilo in the space of maybe 5 or 6 weeks. It was false weight now. It
Yeah, of
was
course. Yeah, everyone
handy
I
enough
think
to take off.
over COVID,
Yeah.
everyone put on about a stone.
Yeah, yeah. But I came back and I drew Grania Walsh in the
Yeah.
semi-final. I said, oh no.
Yeah.
Grania was obviously so close to being an Olympian at the last Olympics. She's so good, European Games medalist. And I said, I'm only 19, I'm not gonna I don't know how I'll get on with her, but I said I'll go in and I'll fight. Like I'd never back down from anyone. I've been in with the best of the best.
Yeah.
But she pulled out then due to injury. So I got a straight final, and then it was a third round stoppage then in the elite final. So it was good to get the win there.
I'm sure that was a big, yeah. And you mentioned earlier your dad, I think he never won the elites. He
Yeah.
had won a lot of
Never won
Irish
the elite.
titles,
I
but
think he was beaten twice.
yeah. So was that a wee bit, I'm sure he was really proud, but was that a nice thing for you to be able to,
Yeah, definitely. I think it
yeah,
was said every single day in the house for about a month.
is that right? Yeah. Brilliant. And I mean, so obviously that was 2021. And then as you mentioned, I suppose after winning the elites, you wouldn't think that you would then go down to the under 22s and the
Yeah,
following. But again, there was that reason you wanted to get the scalp of
yeah.
someone beating you before. But in 2022, I was looking at your record. That was a big year because
I had a
I
great
suppose,
year in
yeah,
2022.
talk to us about what happened in that year.
Yeah, so then obviously after winning the elites, they brought me up to be part of the high performance unit, so a part of the elite team, and that was brilliant. I just did my leaving cert, and then I got called up to be full time with the Irish squad, training alongside Kelly Harrington, Michaela Walsh. Like these are girls that I looked up to.
Yeah.
I thought that they were the best ever, and I was getting to train alongside them, so it was such a great opportunity to even get up there. And within like 2 weeks, they said, "Oh, we're going here, we're going there." We were in Sheffield, we were in Italy, training camps left, right, and center. So I was living the dream that
Yeah,
way.
brilliant.
Great. It was new to me. And now I wasn't up to scratch with the rest of the girls. I was only new coming
Mhm.
in. I wasn't technically good. So the coaches said, I remember John Conlon saying, "Look, we weren't even going to bring you to that first training camp because we said these girls are going to kill her when she
Right,
gets
really?
over." So when we went over, then they put me in I got put in the first day with an Olympian, and the coaches were like, "Oh God, you're putting her in with an Olympian." But I went in, held my own, not a bother. And they said, "Geez, this girl's actually really tough."
Yeah.
So I just had to work on the technical side of things then, and that came slowly but surely then. But yeah, no, it was great. Then I got sent to the Worlds in May of 2022. I won my first fight. I made it to the last 16 over there, and I got beaten by a Tokyo Olympian from Ukraine. But it was a good fight. I think it was a split decision. But again, I was just sent for experience. They weren't sending me over there thinking that I was going to come home with a medal
Yeah.
or anything. But that was at 66 as well. So that was at the Olympic weight, which is always a little bit tougher too. So then I went to the Europeans. I actually went to the under 22 Europeans
That's what I
in
was going to say. Is
March
that the
before
one?
that.
Did you
Yeah,
get a
yeah.
medal?
That I medaled at that. Yeah, I got a bronze medal at that.
Brilliant.
So I was beaten by the champion then as well. And she went on to win the European Championships, the elite European Championships as well. I drew her at
Well, I mean,
those
that's
two.
that's great company that
So
you're mixing in,
yeah,
and
definitely.
even a European medal, no matter what, at whatever level. It's great to say
Yeah,
you've done that as
definitely.
well.
It was good to just come home with that. And it was a great team that went over there too. There was loads of big names on the team. So it was great to come home, with the medal as well. Be great.
Yeah.
But then the European elites as well. I went to those and I was beaten for a medal in those by the champion. So again, the same girl, the German that bet
Same
me in
girl.
the Europeans. And Gráinne Walsh actually boxed her the other day in the qualifiers and beat her, so which was great to
Right.
see. Yeah, so she's very tall, 6'1" or something.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, she's giant, but it was good to see Gráinne obviously get the better of her, get the Irish one over.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So I suppose,
Yeah,
I mean, back then in 2022, was the Olympics in 2024, would that have been what you were aiming towards? Obviously
yeah,
you go Olympic cycles, everything sort of builds up to that. Was that what the aim was really all about?
yeah, definitely. Especially when 66 was announced as Olympic weight. It
Yeah.
was kind of a new weight in Ireland at the time. And it was 60 and 75, or 60, 69 and 75 for the girls. But then 66 got brought in. So I said, geez, I'm in the hot seat here, to
Yeah.
go to 2024. That's when it kind of became real. And then the names came out, if you're gonna enter, if you want to be chosen to go to the qualifier, you're gonna have to enter at this weight. So then all the girls started moving up and down from the
Yeah.
weights. So that was a little bit hard then,
Yeah, because was
being number one.
Amy Broadhurst around that
Yeah.
weight?
So Amy moved up to 66. She was boxing at 63. She won the Worlds and the Europeans at 63. And then she moved up
Yeah.
to 60. And then Lisa O'Rourke had just won the Worlds at 70 and she moved down to 66.
So
And then
just to win your Irish title, you'd have to beat basically two
oh,
world
like two
champions.
world champions. And then Christina Desmond is European silver is she European silver medalist at 70. She moved down to 66. And then obviously Gráinne Walsh as well at
Oh,
66.
crazy.
I said, this is the most stacked weight ever, I think, in
Yeah.
Ireland.
So
But
competitive.
it was so competitive and we were all training together up there. But it's great to have, so many good people at your weight. It keeps you on your toes a lot
Yeah.
more.
I'm sure it
There's a
brings
lot
you
more.
all on. Yeah.
Definitely. And we all spar each other up there now as well. So we're all learning from each other, which is really good.
No, that's great. And in 2023, am I right in thinking that you lost on a split decision to Amy Broadhurst in the
Amy,
semi-final,
yeah,
really? So again,
yeah,
you're losing on a split decision to a world champion. So
yeah,
did you
exactly.
take some part in that, or even were you really disappointed? Or
Um, See, Amy had a great year from all 2022. She won everything, World, Commonwealth, and European champion. So I was kind of the first fight to come in against her. That was her
yeah,
first fight after having the best year of her life. So I got drawn against Amy in the draw, and I can make 63. I walk around about 64 kilo, and
hmm
everyone was saying, "Would you not just go down and wait? Would you not just go down? Why don't you enter the elites at 63?" But I had the dream that I wanted to go to the qualifiers, and I wanted to try and qualify for the Olympics. So there was no point me going down or going up in any weight to avoid anyone.
yeah,
I wanted to go in. I wanted to prove myself, and I've been sparring the girls up there. And obviously, some days you have good days, and some days you have bad days. So I said, no, I'm going to go in, I'm going to fight. I think even my own coach told me, oh my God, are you sure you want to fight Amy now when I drew her? He said, yeah, 100%. I don't doubt myself for 1 minute against
yeah,
Amy.
that's good.
You have to believe in yourself.
Absolutely. No, yeah,
No one
it's a
else
great
will. No one
mindset.
else believed in me. So I
Yeah,
said,
you're very like I get the impression that you're very like your dad.
yeah,
Whether
definitely.
that's just obviously, you're his daughter, but I can just when
Yeah,
I'm talking to you, your mindset and stuff, I'm just
yeah,
like, that's the way Jim would talk. And it's great to
definitely.
know.
Yeah. And he actually said to me, look, like you'll beat this girl. And I said, yeah, I know I will. I said, but I just needed to hear it from someone else, I think,
Yeah.
because it was really hard, kind of everyone saying, oh, she's after drawing Amy Broadhurst. And even when I was going sparring in different clubs, they were like, would you not just pull out? Or are you sure you're going to box her? How are you feeling about drawing her? But it was just like drawing anybody else to me. That was the mindset I had. I knew
hmm
obviously Amy is a phenomenal boxer. And I knew it was going to be really tough to beat a world champion, but I
Yeah.
was confident going in. And I think after the first round, I shocked a lot of people. It was a split decision in the end. And when I got out of the ring, everyone kind of swarmed over to me. It was like I had won. Like so many people coming over and congratulating me. But it was a great fight between me and Amy, really competitive. But yeah, it was good. It
I
was
mean,
great.
when the bell ended, did you feel that you'd done enough, or did you know that it could go either way?
I never know if I've done enough, or you just kind of have to hope. Even if you have done enough, you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
something. Yeah.
you don't know what way it's going to go. But I did think that maybe I pushed on a little bit more, and I did feel physically stronger at that time. I know Amy had just moved up there; she's a 60-kilo boxer, boxing at 66. So
Yeah.
I felt physically stronger that I was able to push her back when I needed to. But I think I learned that a bit too late on in the fight. But
Okay.
it was close fight, great fight, and could have gone either way. So you can't complain with anything
No,
that way.
that absolutely. As I say, a split decision
Yeah,
with me to world champion. It shows you're right at that level, which
definitely,
is
especially for
great.
me being 20, going in against the best in the world. So it proved a lot to me. So I didn't mind.
Yeah. And so that was, am I right in thinking, that was at the start of 2023? So that was the
Yeah,
elites last year.
yeah, last year, last
Yeah. And
January, yeah.
then did you won another Irish title, I think, later on that
Then I
year?
won in March. Then I beat Leanne Murphy again
Oh,
in
well, that's
the
it. So at
under
least I
22.
suppose
Yeah,
you were able to get a bit of success straight after that as
yeah.
well.
Definitely. And then everyone was kind of working away together, still in the high performance training away, to see who was going to go to the qualifier. So there was the in-house assessments then after that elites. So I
hmm
said I'd probably be in with a chance here. A couple of the coaches had said that they thought that I won the fight. I said, oh, I might be in with the chance of an assessment here. So then all the other girls ended up getting an assessment, and they didn't give me one.
Oh,
But
really?
I had entered the elites, and some of them hadn't. So I said, well, what's the story here? Why am I not getting an assessment? But they just said kind of that I was too young, that I'll be around for the next Olympic cycle. But
Yeah, but
it's
at the
still,
same time, yeah, because I've done this podcast with so many people, and there's been things like that where there was used to be years ago you had to have a box off, and it was
yeah,
the same sort of thing where like we're going to send this one because you'll be all right for the next one, but then
you'll be
sometimes
all
the
right.
next one
Yeah,
doesn't, the next one might not come. There could
exactly.
be injuries or anything.
Someone could come up through the ranks,
Yeah.
someone amazing at the younger age, and could beat you in a couple of years' time, or you could be injured. Something might happen. It's a hard process to stay there for another 5 years as well.
Listen, hopefully it will happen,
Very hard.
but yeah.
Hopefully, yeah,
But I'm sure, yeah, a bit disappointing at the time that you weren't being sent. So I suppose
yeah,
right now those qualifiers are happening and it's coming to the
yeah,
final stages. Ireland's doing
yeah.
fantastic. Is it
Brilliant.
hard to sort of look at it and see one's maybe going to qualify, or are you just really happy because you know these people, or is there a wee bit of
I'm
it
not
like, Wish I was there.
I'm happy for everyone that's going to qualify, and especially Grania Walsh is over there at my weight now. I hope Grania wins. You know, she only has one more fight to
Yeah.
qualify, and I think that's amazing because that shows to me, you know, how close I could have been as well. So I'm really happy for her. She's a great friend of mine, and I'd love to see her qualify because I think she's had such a hard run the last couple of years, and that she really does deserve it. So I'll be rooting for her now tomorrow when she goes in. But
Yeah.
that proves to me. So if I see Grania qualify tomorrow, I lost to Grania on a split decision in the last elites.
Hmm.
There again, you know, it was one apiece going to the third round. I think it was a 4-1 I lost on. But so like goes to show, you know, geez, Grania's after doing that, you know, that could be me next time.
Yeah.
So it's good for me to see where I'm at as well, seeing her go so far. So fingers crossed now.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed. No, absolutely. And I mean, I suppose the reason the Olympics are so special as well is because it only does happen once every 4 years. But for
Yeah.
someone who's maybe just missed out, you have another 4 year cycle. Is it, I mean,
Yeah.
is everything fully focused in your head that the next 4 years you want to stay amateur and you want to go to the 2028 games? Or how are you
I don't
feeling
know.
at the moment?
It's a long time to
Yeah.
be there. So that will mean that I've been within the high performance for 6 years.
Okay.
And it's very repetitive, you know, it's the highs are high, but the lows are so
Yeah.
low. You know, you're kind of if you're not number one, you're not really anywhere. You know,
Right.
sometimes the number twos will get sent to tournaments elsewhere, but you know, especially at my weight, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
There's so much talent at that weight. So it is hard to try stay motivated and, you know, obviously professional doors are there.
Well, this is what I wanted to mention as well. Is
Yeah,
that something that you've thought about? Is it something that I mean, I'm
yeah.
not gonna say people approached you about it, but is that maybe something as well?
I always dreamed when I was younger of being a professional boxer. I know loads of people say that they dreamed of being Olympic champion, but I dreamed of being world champion. So, you know, because I always looked up to my dad. So,
Yeah,
you know, I couldn't have dreamed of being an Olympian because there was no Olympics for girls when I was younger. You know,
yeah.
that wasn't a thing that we could have looked up to. Obviously, I went to see Katie in London in 2012. I
Oh,
seen her.
were you over there?
I was there, yeah.
Brilliant.
My
How
10th
how was
birthday.
that? That must have been amazing.
Oh, amazing. It was my 10th birthday. I flew out to the semi-finals and my dad said, "Do you not want to go to the finals?" And I said, "No, because the semi-finals on my birthday."
Oh, very.
So we flew out that day then and watched her there. It was class. And we came
Yeah,
back to Bray then the next day. We live in the next town to Bray. We live in
yeah,
Greystone, but we went to Bray and watched her on this big massive screen in a big park. You know, everyone was there and it was amazing. So that was obviously I said, oh, I'd love to do that, you know.
yeah,
But from a young age, it was kind of like there's photos in my house of me with my dad's belt, and you know that's always what I wanted to do.
yeah,
So I that would probably be the long term goal, but
yeah,
it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I thought it would be, you know, oh, I'll turn pro and I want to turn pro, and there'll be people there that'll
yeah.
want me, but it's not that easy.
Yeah,
So
because
you
you
have
don't want, as you say, you don't want to turn professional, be earning peanuts and kind of. You want to, if you can, I suppose
yeah,
now try and win a big major medal, and then someone approach you and
definitely.
say, "Here's a plan."
That's what I said. I said maybe, you know, if I just stay for a little bit longer and you know, win a big medal, then someone might be interested in me instead of me, you know, just
Yeah,
wanting them to find me. So I've spoke to a few people and it is just kind of there's a lot of lifestyle changes and stuff you'd have to make.
yeah,
You have
I
to stand
know,
on your own 2 feet a little bit more as well.
definitely, I know.
Um,
And then if fights get called off, you're not getting paid.
yeah,
Stuff it is.
you're
I
not
mean,
getting paid. At least when you're in the amateurs, you're kind of in that protective bubble. You
yeah,
know, there's people there that are going to support you all the time, and yeah, it's a lot tougher. I think there's more pressure on you as a professional because you know
yeah.
one loss could kind of change things that could be going your way. So I have a lot of thinking to do,
Yeah, no,
but
but listen, you're still very young. I mean, even if we're talking
definitely,
in 4 years' time, God
I'll only
willing,
be
you get to the
25.
Olympics, you're 25. You're
Yeah,
right in the middle of your prime. So,
I know.
it's just, I suppose, what sort of competitions and stuff are coming up in the next year, so to keep you motivated, to even, have
Yeah,
something to look forward to.
like that's the thing because they're so focused on the Olympic team at the minute. It's hard for everyone else to stay motivated because there's not really anything for us. You know, the team is away. Our training camps are here. They're there, qualifiers. So it's just trying to find your own tournaments. I'm boxing next week in Cork, so that was kind of
Okay.
something to train for. And then I am going to Portugal at the end of the month. There's a international tournament over there, so
Oh,
I'll
well,
go
that's
to that.
good.
Yeah, so it's just trying to keep yourself busy then when you can, and
Yeah.
hopefully the high performance will have a few things then for the rest of the team coming up.
Yeah. And then I suppose there'll be European and World Championships in the next couple of
Yeah,
years leading up to the Olympics. It's not like
exactly.
it just stops for 4 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm still under 22 as well, so I have
Oh,
another
great.
crack at
Oh,
the
very
under
good.
22 Europeans.
So
So
maybe
they'd
try and
be
get a gold. You got a bronze. So,
yeah, exactly. It got a bronze the last time, and I missed out on them last year because they were on the same time as the elites. So it
okay.
was either, go into the elites and try and win them this time. They were just in November there, when I boxed Grania. It was either do that or else go to the Europeans because I'd won the under 22. So I had to make a big decision there as well, which
Yeah.
one kind of meant more to me. But I put all my eggs in one basket and I said, if I want this, I'll go for it. So I did
Yeah.
the elite.
Yeah. And the other thing, just as before we move away from the amateur game, obviously in the last year or two, there's a bit of uncertainty about the amateurs with the Olympics. I mean, am I
Yeah.
right in thinking that the next Olympics boxing's in, but then after that, it's a bit,
Yeah,
nobody knows what's happening?
I don't know if they're going to be in 2028.
Is that, yeah, because that's what I was
Yeah,
reading. Yeah, which is like, I mean, that's a scary thought
then
for,
you don't really have anything to kind of aim for. I know there's Europeans and there's worlds, but the same with that, you don't know the organization, which one, it's kind of split now, if you'd be able to go to them or not. So
yeah.
it kind of takes away a lot of people's dream of being an Olympian and qualifying for the Olympics, but hopefully that they bring them
Yeah,
in. And
hopefully, but I suppose we'd be biased. But to me, I just think Olympics. I think athletics, boxing, maybe a bit of
yeah,
swimming, gymnastics, but
see the
boxing to
medals
me,
that boxing brings home to Ireland. They bring
I
the most
know
medals
that's
home out of any sport. So
yeah. No, no. Well, listen. Hopefully that does. But I was just actually thinking that is it the next Olympics where it's still uncertain. So yeah, I suppose
yeah,
hopefully it does. It's going to be there. But
yeah,
yeah, I suppose
hopefully.
that's something. Yeah. And listen, before we move away from the boxing completely, I just want to talk about like as you've been boxing, have you been like still at school, and is education something like what sort of things are you doing outside of the boxing? Is it work, or are you still in education at the moment?
I had just done my leaving cert one just before the elites, and I was starting my college course on a Monday, and I won the elites on the Saturday.
Right.
So it was like going from I was about to have like a college student life, and then I won the elites, and I got called up full time to the high performance. So that was
No,
really
no.
tough.
Did it do Freshers Week?
No, there was no
No
freshers week
Freshers
for
Week.
me. I didn't even know half the people in my course. Like I was
Okay.
like just going in and that was it, going in to do the work whenever I could. And then the rest was I was trying to do online. I was trying to manage, all the lectures were recorded, try to do it in between sessions in the hotel at nighttime. So I managed to get through a year of the course. Now I was studying law.
Is that
So
what you're
it
studying,
was
right?
it was intense. So I obviously needed to be at these lectures and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I just about got past the first year, but I hated it. So it wasn't, I knew that this is not what I wanted to do. So I got through the first year just to say that I did the first year in college. And after that, I said, look, I'm going to take a break out this year and try and qualify for the Olympics. So I'm going to try and just park everything aside. Sometimes you think, oh, maybe if I wasn't in college and I didn't
Yeah.
put time into that I might have put more time into that. So I just parked the college and I said, right, I'm gonna give this my everything, train full time, no distractions, no nothing. And I obviously lost the elites. But that was okay. I was still training full time up in the high performance. It was grand. We were going to tournaments. And then the next year came around and obviously Amy didn't qualify at the first qualifier. So the door was still open. So I said, right, here we go again. It's like deja vu. I'm not gonna go back to college this year. So I'm actually going back in September.
You are definitely now.
I'm definitely going back in September. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. There's nothing gonna get in the way. But yeah, I've done a few like courses on the outside. Like I did a digital marketing course and kind of different marketing, and
Yeah.
then I work part time as well in a shop. So
That's right.
uh, just kind
So
of
like what would be your, I mean, I suppose boxing, obviously, maybe hopefully professional boxing, but long term, do
yeah.
you have like a career that you're looking to
I
get into as well?
definitely need something because once you're finished boxing, you need something to fall back on, and I know that I don't
Yeah.
think I'm gonna make millions now from boxing, and you have to be realistic about it. So I'm going back in September to study media and broadcasting, so I wouldn't mind being like a TV presenter or some kind of presenter in that way. I think
Yeah.
that's I love a chat. So
Yeah, well, do you know what? It's because even when I was looking at seeing your Instagram stuff, obviously when
yeah,
I interviewed your dad a month or so ago, and then
yeah, yeah,
we are talking about you and stuff, and I was
yeah,
then did a bit of research, and I suppose the thing I was surprised about is, I suppose, on your Instagram, you seem so, like, I suppose, like, girly, and in
Yeah,
terms of,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're doing like your makeup
yeah,
tutorials,
yeah,
and you were doing stuff for Skechers the other day, which is
yeah.
brilliant. But then you're this, like,
I
badass
know.
ring.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
So
That's
it's
what
good
that's
though
what
that you've
companies
got
they
that.
always say. Like it's such a diverse kind of thing. You know, you never really they never really find boxers that are into their fashion or whatever that kind of thing. So everyone thinks it's mad. So that's why companies are getting on and they're like, oh yeah, well like you're different. You're an athlete, but we haven't got one of you yet. So it's going well that kind of way of it as well. But you need to be really good to make it like that.
No, but listen here. Look, if you can add that with your results
Yeah,
going
yeah.
forward,
That's
I tell
that's
you what,
somewhere.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure there'll be big opportunities. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then when I was talking to your dad as well, he mentioned at the end of the podcast that you went to a premiere. Was it the
yeah,
Creed premiere? But he
yeah. The
was
crew
your plus one
forever.
because you got invited.
Yeah. So he had always brought me along when I was younger to things, and I always went with him, plus one. And then I got invited to the Creed premiere, and I had a plus one. So I said, do you want to come with me as my plus one? And he was kind of like, whoa, you know,
Brilliant.
raging. But we went anyway, and I was like, I made sure that everyone knew that he was my plus one because people would just
Yeah.
assume that he'd be invited and he would have just brought me. So I had it up everywhere. I said, "Oh, this is my plus one," and then I think a couple of like newspaper articles came out, and it was like Jim Rock brings his daughter
Oh,
to
I
the
knew.
premiere, and I was like, "No, if only they
No,
knew."
email the editor. You've got that wrong.
You got that wrong. The daughter brought the dad.
Yeah. Oh no, that's great because when he mentioned that, I thought that was great. But it obviously it
Yeah,
does show you that your name's getting out there. And even was it just recently this week? There was a really nice feature done on you, and was it like for the Women's Week?
yeah, for Women's Week, yeah, Women in Sport Week as well. So that was at their local kind of active Wicklow thing. So they got in touch and they wanted like a couple of words and just talking about the boxing as well. So it's good to have people like that that are
Yeah.
interested and supportive as well.
No, absolutely. And you're the first female boxer I've had on this. I've been
Yeah,
trying,
brilliant.
which is fantastic. And it's actually this week's National
Yeah,
Women's Week.
Women in
Today's
Sport Week.
Mother's
Yeah,
Day. I know you're not a mother, but
yeah.
it's actually kind of
I
perfect
have
that
a
we're doing
dog,
this.
so he's my child.
Oh, right, right, there you go. But it's actually perfect that we got this.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, no, I'm so thankful for you giving me some of your time, Casey, and
Thanks so much for
I
even
just wish you all
asking
the
me.
best. I'll be keeping a
Thanks
close
very
eye,
much.
and
Yeah,
your results going forward, and we'll maybe get you on again at some stage when you
yeah,
win a major
definitely.
medal.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. And listen, look, give your dad all my best, and thanks so
I
much
will do.
for speaking to
Thanks
me,
very
Casey.
much for having me.
All the
Thanks.
best. Take
See you
care.
later.
Bye.
Bye.